name is Janelle. I'm a librarian here at the Litchfield Park Library in the Maricopa County Library District. Usually my programs are for children, but today I want to talk to the parents and caregivers. If you have a little one at your home and you want to help get their brain and their body ready for reading, then this is a program for you. The first and foremost way that we can get our child ready to read is to read together. Reading with your child is the single most important predictor of their success in their own reading. When you read with them, they have your full attention and you can enjoy the experience together. But I'm not going to focus entirely on the actual reading activities that you should be doing with them. Instead, I want to share some simple ideas using items around your house, including things from your recycling bin, to make some activities and games that you can use with your child or give them to use on their own. Before children can learn to read, they must develop a range of early literacy skills. Getting your child ready to read can happen as you go about your day, and you don't need expensive or fancy smart toys to help your child's brain and body develop. It's never too early or too late to intentionally incorporate activities that will help them get ready to learn to read when they start school. Right here you can see I'm playing with some scarves in a little wire ball. And it's just fun to pull them out. Kids really enjoy that. Have you ever seen a kid with a tissue box? Yeah, this is that equivalent of that. Also works great with things that you might want to recycle, like wipes containers. Baby wipes containers especially are great. You can take things out, they can put things in. A lot of times there's a lot of fun in the mystery of what is inside. And there's a certain sense of permanence when you can put things in and take things out. So those are some skills that kids pick up on without us really telling them that's what's happening. I also have here a fun little game where it's just Q-tips and an upside down egg carton. And what I've done is used a pencil to poke a hole in there, and this is good for their fine motor skills. Just putting the Q-tip in the hole. Something that they can sit and do by themselves after they've seen you do it. Some kids will want to do it on their own. Oh, back to the flags, or the scarves here. As you do something with them, model some imaginative play. Make a little story out of it. Pull out a scarf and say something like, oh, this is a blanket to keep me warm. Or put it around your neck and be a superhero. Or it's a flag blowing in the breeze. You don't need to get the fancy scarves like these, purchased ones. You can use bits of cloth, handkerchiefs, things like that. And I also want to show here another egg carton activity. I've colored in the holes. You don't need to use all the colors at once, but then you can use these for sorting things. So I have some pom-poms that we can sort, especially for your littlest ones who you don't want to worry too much about a choking hazard. But beads would also work for older kids. And if you want to build up their muscles in their hand, you can use a clothespin to pick up things and put them in the bin. I did something wrong. There we go. Research shows that children begin getting ready to read at birth. Saying nursery rhymes and singing songs with your little one will also help develop skills and vocabulary that your child will need when they are ready to learn the developmental skill of reading words to themselves. Rhymes help them learn sounds and word patterns. Having a conversation with your little one helps them to understand the ebb and flow of communication. So as you're going about your day, talk to them like another human being. And have that conversation. As I mentioned with the pincher, fine motor skills help build coordination in your child's hand muscles, which is a necessary thing when they're holding pencils and other supplies to write and read. Turning pages, that fine skill of picking something small up. Something you can do fun in the kitchen especially, give them a colander and some spaghetti. And they can stick it in there. Also works, this is a little bit more challenging, to get pipe cleaners into the holes. You can see if you can get it to come out the other side. That's pretty challenging. but this can be a lot of fun. And then you have like a porcupine or something like that you can tell a story about. Let's see, we also have some Play-Doh here. You can also take this Play-Doh. It's also really good for building hand muscles, is playing with Play-Doh, especially as your Play-Doh is getting a little stiff. Stick a pipe cleaner or spaghetti in there, and then, now this is for kids who are beyond the choking hazard, you can use beads to put on there. You can also incorporate patterns, like, oh, I have one red, two yellow, maybe I'll put another red on. If you're worried about a choking hazard, you can also do this with Cheerios. So this can be a fun snack time activity. Use Cheerios or other round cereals to make some stacks on there. And that is something that is fun. Another activity where you're putting something round onto a small object. These are pool noodles that I've cut up and I'm lacing them onto a string. So this is just a piece of nylon string, and it's kind of going to make like a big necklace or whatever you want it to be. It could be a snake, something like that. I also have here, these are some drink lids from some children's drinks that's a little trickier to put through, but I can use those for lacing too. Young children have short attention spans generally. So some of these activities that you do, maybe for very short bits throughout your day. Of course, each child is unique and special. Some will develop a longer attention span on the activities that they find particularly engaging. Some more sorting ideas. Drink caddies, or here's a little container that contained 4 things, are great because they're really good for beginning sorting. I happen to have also some colorful muffin tin things. I'm not sure where we got these. They're just in my cupboard. And bottle caps or something also. So I could sort the bottle caps. Ooh, let's see that one. There's some green. There's some blue. That one's also blue. This one is red, orange. I don't have an orange spot. Another way that you can sort is by putting things on the floor. Tape out some spots on the floor. I didn't tape a circle. I'm just going to use that circle there. And then have your kids go around the house and find things that meet those shapes. So here, the round things could go in the circle. Here's some lids could go in the circle. I don't have anything triangular on my table. I've got some square things though. So they can use their other toys, other objects around your house to sort into those. And then of course the lids can be used for so many things with that. Reading and math are both involve patterns, and you'll be preparing your child to do well in school when you help them at home to recognize patterns and routines. Analyzing patterns helps children to make plausible predictions about what will happen next, both in math and in story sequence. Singing songs that build on adding something or taking something away can help them understand patterns as well. For example, the 5 green and speckled frogs song or the 5 little monkeys, you're taking one away. That's subtracting. That can even start with less numbers if you don't want to spend that much time singing the song. You can start at 3 little monkeys or change the animal and the action to suit your own children. The next few activities are a little more specific to the knowledge they need before entering school. Things like shapes, colors, numbers, knowing your alphabet. So I've got a couple activities here you can make. This is just using wooden sticks, and these are simple little puzzles made with 2 sticks. And it's a matter of matching the shapes. And I've done it so that the shapes have the same color on both sides. That makes sense. You can also talk about the colors as you're doing them, as they're doing the matching. And there we go. So those are just little 2-piece puzzles that you can make for your child. And then you can talk about the different shapes. What is this shape? Where do we see this shape? Things like that. Another thing to do with the sticks is to make a little more complex puzzle. This is one that I've taken a photo, a picture. And this would be kind of fun to do with your family members. And I just cut it apart and glued it to the sticks. So it's a matter of figuring out what goes together. And this might be a little bit more challenging because I can see how it would be challenging. You would want something with enough variation in it. But then you've got a little picture and you could talk about who these people are. Are these some cousins? Or are these people you don't know? Some friends? What are they doing? It's a great conversation starter. Another way to learn things like letters and numbers, I have here some spoons. And what I've done is on the white spoons, I've put on some dots. And you can have your child put the dots in order by what they stand for. You can talk about what the numbers mean. As children are learning to count, they often learn the counting part first. 1, 2, 3. And they haven't figured out that they need to match the number. And the next step then is to match the number they're saying to a quantity of things. So, and then also recognizing what the number looks like. So here I have clear spoons. I'm going to lay over top of those so they can match what they have. So 5 goes on that one. And then they can have their grown-up do a little quick check to see how they did. So that can be done with letters, numbers. You could use something like that to spell somebody's name, put the letters on. So for letters, I would do like A, little a, and big A as 2 separate spoons. And then over here, I'm using some things from around the house. Toilet paper tubes, or these are, I believe, paper towel tubes that I cut in half. And I made some trees, and each tree has a different number of items on it. So I have 1, 2, I need to find 3, and then I just made slits in the tube to hook that in. You can also then talk about what kind of trees are these? What kind of fruit is growing on these trees? What happens if I take one of the fruits off the tree? How many will there be? What if I take that one away? You're doing math. But some of your children are more interested in telling a story about the trees. So that's a great thing to do too. As you go on your daily outings, talk about what you see. Wonder about it. Make observations aloud. There will probably be something that your child is quick to notice themselves, like a type of vehicle, a bus, a store or a restaurant. A lot of times the K from Circle K is something that they pick up on right away. They're picking up on visual cues and associations, and those are all things that pre-readers do. Help them to see that you are reading things such as signs, food labels in stores, mail. You can even point out when you are doing reading by thinking out loud, like, let's take a moment to read the instructions before I open this. When you're having conversations with your child or making observations, don't worry if they don't respond quickly. Allow them 5 to 12 seconds for them to process a question or stimulation and formulate a response, or even to try a new movement. Allow them to express themselves. Some children are watchers and they contemplate their actions for a long time before participating. Lastly, and I'm saying it again, the best way to get your child ready to read is to read together. I know I said it already, but it is the most important part, and it's a great bonding experience, and you are exposing them to vocabulary, the structure of reading and writing, and imagination. I'd like to share a few resources that the library has that might be helpful to you as parents and caregivers. We have quite a few books in the parenting areas about how to get your children to be readers. This one is called Raising Boy Readers, so it's specific to things that boys have an interest in. It includes book lists and things like that for different ages. This one is on Overdrive. It is Raising Confident Readers. It explores the whys and the how-tos of reading. And I consider this one to be a little bit more of an academic type book, a lot more with the brain studies and things like that in it. This is How to Raise a Reader, lots of tips for all ages of children, and book recommendations for all ages and stages. If you like the types of activities that I showed you, then there's a lot more ideas in Everything Toddler Activities book, and to keep them engaged with learning and doing. And this one's on overdrive. And then I found this was like a bit of one I'd never seen before, and I really liked it. It's called Great Outdoor Activities for developing literacy skills outdoor. Has great activities for one kid or a group of kids. They're fun, they're intentional, but they really engage the whole child. So those are some activities that you might, or some books that you might want to check out on our digital resources. And lastly, I'm going to demonstrate a digital resource that can also give you a solid foundation for understanding the learning process and helping your children. We're going to go to the library's website, mcldaz.org. And here at the Learn button, you can see a couple different things you can use there. We're going to use Gale Courses. And I'm going to type in up here what type of a course I want to look for. We're going to look for early literacy. And there's a couple that I've looked at here already that I think I'd like to recommend. One is called Ready, Set, Read. And I'm gonna just click on a little bit more about that one. And I think this is a great one for parents and caregivers. You get to go through the course. You can take it. You can see that note there. You can take it for some credit if you want to pay money, but you don't have to. And there's lots of people on there just taking it for their own education and the benefit of their own children. It was interactive. There was course readings and then activities to do with your children. So that's one course I recommend, the Ready, Set, Read. And I'm also going to show you another one that I found beneficial was the Enhancing Language Development in Childhood. And again, there was various readings to do and things to do with your child to start enhancing their language development. And it had a lot of the good research and brain development topics to learn about as well. These are all free things that you can get from our website. You do not pay for these, but you're participating. And these were kind of a self-paced course where you had some readings and things to do and also some discussions that you could participate in online, but you did not have to be anywhere at a specific time. They were not in real time. Thanks for joining me today. Have fun with your children as they grow and learn. As a parent myself, my mantra has always been, the days are long, but the years are short.